Hello, it's Scott Manley here, and thanks to Paradox and Hemimont Games who gave me an early review copy of Surviving Mars. We are going to get to play this and look at it in a kind of raw and unfiltered way. I want to just basically play the game and share with you what I can see. Not going to be a review because that's specifically forbidden just yet, because this isn't the final version, but we are going to play it. So yeah, we have the opening menu. I've not looked in the mod editor and the mod manager, but we all know games these days that embrace mods are always better. Let's actually try a regular start. So we can pick our mission sponsor. There's basically easy mode where we can have the International Mars mission with 30,000 million, so 30 billion, all the way up to the Paradox Interactive, because for some reason Paradox has $4 billion to play with and a rocket. I actually would be kind of interesting to see how they behave. I find it interesting that Russia is considered harder than almost all the others. The only thing that's harder to get to Mars than Russia is a video game company from Scandinavia. Europe, Space Y, India, yeah, price goes down. I think I'm going to try Europe. I'm not sure why, I'm just going to do that. Commander profile, rocket scientist. Oh, you can get different options. I start with an extra rocket. Oh, CO2 jet propulsion. That's cool that they've got CO2 jets. Ecologist, futurist, hydro engineer. Actually, I don't know, inventor? Drones are optimized to work faster. Yeah, an oligarch. Hydro engineer, which is really useful on a planet which has almost no water. Minimum comfort required for birth. Oh, I could be a doctor, huh? Astrogeologist. Why is there no botanist? Surely there should be a botanist here. Ecologist is the nearest, right? Oh, that's kind of cool. So I guess there's all these different options. I'm going to start with it as an astrogeologist. Not sure why. I'm just going to do that. Pick a logo. Oh, Serenity. Totally got to go with that. And now, mysteries. Because if you remember, there are alien, weird, mystery things that we find on Mars. Because regular Mars isn't dangerous enough. I mean, it is an empty desert, so we got to figure out some way to make it interesting. I have no idea what these are. The power of 3, the inner light. Actually, I'm pretty sure the power of 3 are those cubes. Now, the power of 3 is reference to a Doctor Who episode. In which everyone on the world ends up with various black cubes and they end up taking over the world. So that's great, we're going to do this. Deep scanning. This gain funding every time a tech is researched. It's nice that they actually have a model of the Earth here, because that's the last we're going to see of it, right? Well, okay, obviously we see a little bit more. Why is this rocket going retrograde? Surely that is inefficient use, or maybe it's no. Yeah, I don't know why it's going that way. It's also going very, very fast. So let's see, we'll go with prefab buildings. We get a drone hub, moisture evaporator, fuel refinery. Oh, now this is interesting. The easy start gives you one of each, but the in this case you only get the explorer. Sure, I'll go with that. I'm just going to accept this for now. Do I need this many orbital probes? I don't know. Now let's find a landing spot. Elysium Beta. That's actually fine. Lots of metals and concrete. Not much in the way of other stuff. And it's sitting on the equator. So in theory, it should be perfectly good for building an orbital tower, a beanstalk, a space elevator, depending upon which particular branch of science fiction you are borrowing it from. Everyone at Mission Control is impatient to see the rocket touching down and unloading its precious cargo. Our remotely controlled eyes and hands on the Red Planet, the drones and rovers. Our goal is to secure a foothold for humanity by building the first Martian dome. This daunting endeavour will allow the brave pioneers, the founders, to settle on Mars and prove the colony is sustainable. But until then, we have to make sure the colony has enough construction resources, water, oxygen, and power. Great, so now we gotta pick a place to start, and so we pick the rocket and figure out where we're gonna put this. So we have a rare deposit there. Now the rare deposit's useful because you can mine it for and then send the stuff back to Earth to get money. So let's start some research. Now, obviously social is not that useful. Robotics. Drones and rovers move faster. Logi. Let's do this. Robotics and then physics. I'm going to make the robots happen faster because we're not going to need the social stuff until people start arriving. We might need some of this once we get that finished. We don't have the money to outsource this to Earth. So let's start that. So here we go. Now we should select a sector to scan. So we've already scanned that? I guess not. Let's just add a few more sectors. So that will start scanning things. And now our people deploy. Actually, our robots deploy. This has got nothing to do right now because it's an explorer. Now the first thing we should probably do is build some solar panels. Because we're going to need the power. So set up a solar panel. We'll just start here. And power accumulator is going to need concrete, which I have not brought. What I need to do is take the power cables and drag it here. Well, actually, let's not build the power cables just yet. Let's build the concrete farm. So production, concrete extractor. Now, by doing that, blocking objects, let's do that. There we go. So that's going to start harvesting the concrete. So we're going to, of course, hook it up to the power cables. Great. There we go. So that'll power that up. And once we get the power going on that, this will need machine parts. I think I'll just set one of these up already. And I'll also tell it to build a power accumulator so that we can keep that busy. And finally, we should build a dumping site. Actually, not finally. We should build a dumping site to store the garbage. So it doesn't cost us anything to establish dumping areas. I just want to check. Yeah, that's inside the drone control range from this lander, but we're going to need to set up a drone control system at some point. So that has a prefab building somewhere. Drone hub, there we go. So I'm going to stick the prefab drone hub just about there. Yeah, that's good, because it means we can investigate that, or we can harvest that, and yeah, great. Now we should probably run the time forward faster a little. So what other things can we build at this time? Wind turbines, solar panels, power switches. We can't build the metal extractors because we need people here right now. We could build a fuel refinery, but actually I think, yeah, moisture evaporator would be a good thing to start working on. But before we do that, let's build a few more power. Let's actually extend the power over this way a bit. So I don't want to stick the moisture evaporator too close to the concrete farm for now. So now if I click down here, we can actually get an idea of how much power we have. So we've got to be careful if this goes negative, obviously it means we're running out of power. Okay, production, I want to find, yeah, water. I'm going to start producing water. So the water obviously needs to be connected to the power grid, but it also needs to be connected to the pipe system, right? So I'm going to build pipes and join these two things together. So we'll start accumulating some water for our future colonists. Water is also very essential to certain production systems. Right now, of course, we are running out of stuff. Oh yeah, gotta build a depot to store my stuff. Universal Depot is the lazy version. So I'm gonna start like sticking this here. So this is basically storage space for all the stuff I'm gonna start harvesting. Look at my little drones doing their part there. Look at them, running around in a state of ecstasy. See, these right now, because I built these storage areas, they are unloading all the stuff from the spaceship, right? So the spaceship doesn't have any fuel, but at some point it's going to start wanting to fly back to Earth. This needs power, but we don't have it because we don't have anything working. This here is not ready to be built because we need concrete, and this thing has no power, so we're waiting for the next day. So the game time is measured in sols. Now, sols, of course, on Mars are about 25 hours, which is one of the nice things about Mars. Despite the fact that Mars is very small compared to Earth, there's many things about Mars that make it similar, or give it many similarities. And the day length is good. The fact that it's not a boiling sulfurous hellhole like Venus is also working in its favor. But now we should have some power coming online soon. Come on! Once we get power, they should be able to build this wind farm. So yeah, wind farms on Mars. If you remember when I posted this Surviving Mars originally, people were like, oh, yep, they've messed up because they've put wind farms on Mars. Well, as I pointed out as I did the research, turns out that wind farms aren't completely ridiculous, just slightly ridiculous. So this looks like there's a bit of resources sitting around on the surface. I'm wondering how many of these I can actually harvest. I think I'm going to get myself a cargo rocket shipped out here. So I've got 4 million. If I bring a transport rover and an RC rover, that's good. I can ship that out. What else would I want to ship out right now? Another moisture evaporator might be helpful. And we're going to need to figure out how to ship all the other stuff. I'm wary of filling this thing up too quickly. Let's put some metals on here because we're only going to have a limited source. Polymers, machine parts, electronic. There we go. Okay, we've basically filled our rocket up and we've got a little money left. So that rocket is going to launch and it'll take some time to get here because, of course, traveling to Mars ain't like dusting crops, boy. Without precise calculations, you might miss us completely and head off into the asteroid belt like that space car did. Okay, definitely going to need a few of these things. Let's see what our current numbers actually say. It says that we have a power shortage because we have too many things running. That's fine, I'm going to power this thing off temporarily because I really want this to work. I'm going to power this off too. There we go, because we want the concrete. The concrete is going to help build these, the battery and these towers, so we need the concrete to come out first. Obviously I can just leave these things sitting around. Now, one thing to realize is that all these objects require maintenance, and if you build too fast you're not going to have the materials to maintain your buildings and they'll break down, and that's not good. So that does, it's not like Stellaris where you're sitting there just waiting for your minerals to tick up past some threshold. Yeah, in this case you got to make sure you don't just have those minerals, but you have a stockpile ready to kind of continuously feed your ambitions. I think that's the term that I'm looking for. Now, what else do we have sitting around? Oh, and it's sunset. Let's just wait. 38. We should make this go a little faster. There is my concrete thing. No, oh yeah, this is telling me that I should build a sensor tower so I can scan things faster. But I need power. See, now we've got our solar or wind tower. We've got our battery. We can really start to think about making our thing that works through the night. There we go. That should survive. That should handle everything. I'm going to turn on my moisture evaporator again. So this will start filling up with water. And then when the rocket gets here, we should be able to start exploring for metals. Now, obviously the goal here is to get this sufficiently self-sustaining, get enough oxygen and water stockpiled, that we can actually bring in a dome. So this deposit here is rare metals, and those are the things we can send back to Earth, which we are planning to do hopefully at some point. However, to harvest those, we need a rare metal harvester, and the rare metal harvesters need people. So we gotta get the people out there, make them happy, and then they can start space mining. But that's what we're gonna do in part 2. Until then, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.